Designing one of your own homes is honestly one of the hardest things as an interior designer because we know how many options are out there and how many great options could go into a space. We wanted to honor the heritage and the character of the home with our new selection, so while the bathrooms do still feel new, they feel rooted in the same style, which makes it feel a lot more consistent throughout. One of the biggest goals during this renovation was to really make sure that both bathrooms felt spacious in their own way. So we actually reconfigured the bathrooms to steal space because the hall bathroom was very long and large, and the primary bathroom was very, very tiny. So we ended up stealing space from one bathroom and really evened out the bathrooms so that they feel more proportionate to the overall style and scale of the home. There was also a hall closet that we ended up eliminating, and while I was sad to lose that storage, we really needed that space for the new vanity and the hall bathroom, and we actually got a lot of storage anyway, so it ended up being okay in the long run. This is our new guest bathroom space. So this used to be the hallway with a hall closet here, and this is where our new vanity will sit. So we have a custom vanity here, and then our tub shower combo here, and the toilet will be just behind me. So this space is still gonna feel very open and nice for guests, but it's a better use of space so that we can steal space on our side as well. We also relocated both toilets and shifted plumbing around in each area, and on top of that, did new plumbing throughout both bathrooms. So we were really thankful to work with a great contractor, and his name was Drew Bradford of Bradford Renovations, and honestly, the work was top notch, and we couldn't be more thrilled with the end product. From a design perspective, I really wanted both bathrooms to be cohesive with one another, but I wanted each of them to feel like their own little jewel box. I really wanted to commit to color, textures, and materials that felt special and really intentional. At the same time, these are hardworking spaces in our home, so not only do the materials need to be beautiful, but they also need to be highly functional and cleanable. I also completely fell in love with Tile Bar's lava collection. So it has these kind of raw edges and every tile has a little bit of variation to it. So it feels very handmade. And we had just returned from a trip to Iceland last year before doing these bathrooms. So of course we were totally surrounded by nature and volcanoes and ash. And we just really loved the scenic landscape of Iceland. So it kind of felt like a nod to some of our travels and our trips that we've taken. And so the lava stone just really fell into place. Early on, I also found a triangle lava stone mosaic that we ended up using for our shower floor and then an inlay in our terrazzo floor in our primary bathroom. And this tile, again, as soon as I saw it, I absolutely fell in love with it. I knew we needed to use it in our home somewhere, but I wasn't sure where. And I was looking back through inspiration photos from our travels, and we had been in Italy a few years ago, and I absolutely fell in love with all of the mosaic tiles and the inlays that were there. And so, some of those mosaics are so tiny, and I knew we couldn't recreate that logistically and budget friendly for labor and install. But this green lava stone triangle mosaic that we found, I realized I wanted to do an inlay in our terrazzo floor. So while the style of the inlay isn't necessarily fully mid-century, the textures in the tiles themselves, the terrazzo and the inlay with the triangle mosaic, really lean more mid-century. So it was really about blending textures and materials and kind of creating a piece of home for us that felt worldly. Bringing other pieces from around the world into our home was important to us, and we just have that little nod to remind us each day of our travels and the things that we loved. In the guest bathroom, it was important to add a little bit more variation in the shower while still maintaining an easy and cleanable space. And so we ended up using a 2x8 lava stone. We actually used the 2x8 lava stone tile in both bathrooms, but they're different colors and the install pattern is different. So by mixing those up, both spaces really feel like they have their own personality, but there is that cohesion with the finish and the scale of the tile being the same. And so in the guest bathroom, we had this really pretty pale blue tile, and we ended up doing a stacked style with then a horizontal stripe running through across like each top row. And that really created a fun texture that feels kind of new and different, but there's kind of a familiarity to it because it reminds me of textures that you see in fashion, you know, whether it's a pullover sweater or a jacket, something that's a little bit more structured. And so, really, by adding that texture into the shower, it creates that visual interest without feeling like we're doing too much. I've always really been drawn to walnut wood. I think the warmth and the texture of the wood grain is something that's just always really spoke to me, and I love the natural texture and style of walnut. And so I knew moving forward that in the bathroom, specifically the guest bathroom, I wanted to have a higher contrast vanity in there. And so we ended up doing a walnut veneer vanity, which I really think turned out fantastic. And we did these organic glass knobs that we installed on the drawers. And again, kind of being able to have a focal moment in that bathroom was important because we don't have a powder room on our first floor. So this bathroom is really where every guest is going to go in and see and use. So not only did it need to be functional for people who are staying the night and really being here a little bit more long term, but I also wanted to have these little kind of, maybe even, dare I say, trendy moments of just unique design choices that people could really kind of ponder and enjoy when they're in the space. In our primary shower, I did end up committing to a jade green tile, and honestly, this was one of the best choices for the bathroom because it really is this striking color when you walk into the space. And we ended up staggering each row a little bit in an offset pattern for the tile install on the walls. And the way that it feels intentional but organic and textural is really impactful in the space. And so it's weird to think that a tile install could do all of that, but it truly, when you pick the right install pattern, it makes a world of difference in the space. One detail in our bathroom that I was really passionate about was finding a green engineered stone for our shower pieces and then the bench top in the shower, because I've seen a lot of bathrooms where it's all white marble and that consistency is really key. And I knew that I didn't want to add a white marble or engineered stone to a jade green shower because you would just visually see that like belt of white. And so again, being able to kind of have this monochrome color be kind of a color wash throughout the shower was really important to me. And thankfully it didn't take too much digging, but I did end up finding a jade green slab at Cosentino that's an engineered stone. So it's perfect for any moisture and water because it's not porous. So it really does hold up well in the shower. And I think years and years to come, we won't have any issues with it as well. So this is the door from our bedroom, and we used to only have this space here. So there used to be a wall right after this window, and now we have this entire space and this entire room. So where our shower was, I wanted to add a toilet room just to offer a little bit more privacy. And then we have a large 48-inch vanity that will sit here. Lots of counter space, lots of storage space. I'm really excited for just space. I've never been so excited for space in my life. I added a door, obviously, and that door has some opaque glass throughout, so it still allows the light from the windows to filter in. So it doesn't really feel like you're in like a little shoebox, but it is just like a little nice touch that really elevated the space in ways that I didn't really think could even happen. But just by adding that little bit of glass really allows the light to kind of play throughout the space. I think so many people, when they're redesigning their bathrooms, think that they need to steal space from another room or another area in their home. I know the trend right now is to have a massive spa-like bathroom, and that's fantastic if you have the space for it. But for us, our bathrooms were back to back, so there really wasn't anywhere to go, much less have a spa-like bathroom that's just like fully open concept. But I think what we were able to do really efficiently here was steal space from the larger bathroom so that now the two bathrooms are pretty equal in space, and also be able to create a spa-like feel without having the kind of vast enormity of space, so that it feels like every square foot and every inch is intentional. I really do love that our bathrooms relate to one another, but again, they still have their own personality and mood. So each time you walk in, you kind of have a different reaction or a different feeling to the space versus walking in and feeling like, oh, this was totally for resale or this is fully neutral and there's not like a ton of personality. For me, it was really important, since this is our own home, to really have those touches that matter to us, whether it's the texture in the tile, kind of the variation and it not feeling perfectly, set and geometric, allowing the space to kind of breathe and have the walls be lighter, but maybe some more contrast in the tile, and really just being able to add these personal touches into our own bathrooms to remind us of these little moments we've had abroad, whether it was in Italy or, Iceland, being able to remind ourselves of the things that we've done and seen, but yet we are at home and we're in the comfort of our home and it's personal. That was really important to me. So being able to translate that through finishes, and it's not something that everyone knows. Obviously, a friend might walk in and they have no clue that I did the inlay to kind of mimic the Rome mosaics. But for me, that's a little piece of our puzzle that we can enjoy for years to come. Thank you so much for watching, and if you really loved any of the details in these bathrooms, let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to tell you where I bought some of the stuff too, so you can make it yours.